a couple of my friends got a fridge, and I thought, oh, it's no good, I've got to have one of those, like, you know, the milk won't go bad and the meat won't go bad. So I asked a friend to tell this guy to come and see me, and he did. And he bought this lovely white fridge on the Saturday, and my husband worked, he always worked on Saturday. And when he came in, he went just loopy. You can't have a fridge, we can't afford any more, and all the rest of it. So, because men had to sign, you weren't allowed to, you weren't at work, so you weren't allowed to sign HP things then. So the next Saturday, I waited for the man to come and say, well, you have to take it back. But he just didn't appear. So that was another week I had it, and so I got even more used to it. And 2 or 3 weeks this happened, and he just never came. And I said to one of my friends, like, because I got a bit worried there, because I thought, well, Jack's, you know, getting cross. And how would I pay the payments were going to add up? So she said, well, you haven't got to worry, because I've asked one of the other guys, and it seems he's got put inside. So however he got them, we got them wrong, and I paid 10 bob deposit, and I never ever paid for my fridge, which I had for years and years and years.
I always wanted a Kenwood mixer because I thought it would make my life a good deal easier. And when our second son was born and I got family allowance, I decided that I would put the down payment on Kenwood, and I would use the 5 or 10 shillings a week, whatever it was we then got, to pay off the instalments over 2 years. And this is the same mixer that I have had now for 38 years.
People expected major appliances to be a once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Practicality was valued over styling and special features. Choice was limited, but products were tough and durable.
This one was the original heater that was put in when we came to Chippingfield. And it's been here ever since. And as you see, it's getting rather dilapidated, and I wish it would break down. Then I could have a new one.
Manufacturers inevitably realized they had a dismal future if goods were made too durable, and they began to make products with a shorter lifespan.
Well, I've heard of iron in water, but I've never heard of water in an iron.
This is really 2 irons in one, a steam iron and a dry iron.
Quite revolutionary.
It makes all other
Special features made the old products obsolete and the new ones easier to sell. Why have a dry iron when you could have a steam one?
Set this down when you're using it as a dryer. It's marvellous for pressing, too. You don't have to keep damping the cloth.
As women were the principal users of appliances, manufacturers began to canvass their opinions on products.
Ideas from such surveys are incorporated in prototypes, which are then included in exhibitions of our appliances held at centres throughout the country. Housewives' organisations are invited, and their reactions and any criticisms are duly noted.
Women were very much involved in the construction of cookers, because what would happen is a manufacturer would have a test kitchen, and home economists within that test kitchen baking cakes, fruit cakes, tarts, roasts, you name it. And when they were doing specific tests, if they didn't quite work correctly, they would then go along the corridor to see the engineers and say, now look here, Charlie, this oven, it doesn't quite evenly brown on the left, you'll have to rethink this, I think. And then they would redesign almost, so that they were sure the performance would actually be there at the end of the day. Not only would the cooker be safe, but it would perform in a manner that women were wanting.
In the late 50s, there was a massive scientific development that vastly improved product versatility. Thermostatic controls improved heaters and irons. The spin dryer hit the market. Fridges sprouted iceboxes, and there were even ones that heated your hot water supply. Cookers now featured eye-level grills, glowing radiant rings, and automatic timers, allowing you to set it and forget it.
Well, this is not the original cooker we had when we first came here, but this one has an automatic timer, and I could put the meal in, and when I came home it was cooked. I used to lay the table in the morning, and then it was all ready when we came home.
The tabletop fitment provides a useful work surface, not only in white or cream, but in aquamarine, candy pink.
One of the really exciting things about the 50s were the colours. Up until then, everything had been white or cream, and you were lucky if you could get either. But the 50s, you got bright red scarlet, you've got avocado as we know it today, blue, duck egg blue. A plant is actually in these colours, the whole of plants. So if you wanted to, you could have a water heater, say a Creeder water heater on your wall of one colour, and you could have the appliance, the major appliance such as the cooker, the same colour. So it would fit in with this colour scheme.
The design and styling of appliances became increasingly more important, and now the public were tempted with a wider range of goods, with ever more unusual features.
Hotpoint is the refrigerator on rollers, and look how smoothly it runs.
It floats. The Hoover constellation floats on air, floats on its own cushion of air, floats with you through housework.
Yes, the Hoover constellation...
As customers were seductively invited to upgrade to fancier models, women were becoming dependent on their appliances, especially as they began to work outside the home in greater numbers.
A gentle pull, and it follows in your footsteps for perfect all-round-the-house cleaning.
I really couldn't have done without the electrical appliances because they saved me time. There was the iron, I had an ironer, and a spin dryer, of course I had, and hair dryers. There was one particular kind that you actually could have a hood on it, so you could sit, have it at the side of you, the hairdryer would be sitting on a stand, the hood would be over your head, and you could be doing your sewing or your knitting.
With the growing spread of commercial television, the showroom was now brought directly into the living room.
Advertising was now very much the thing in television, and you just yearned for them. But I'll have one of those one day. I saw these lovely machines, say your washing machine, your fridges, your hoovers, your carpet sweepers, you name it, it was on the television.
As more products came onto the market, there was more competition and more need to distinguish one product from another, and also to give them some character. So manufacturers, and I think led by Hotpoint, started to give their machines brand names like the Countess.
I was dreaming of wash day. And all of a sudden, before my very eyes, my Hotpoint Countess disappeared. I was desperate. All that washing, some very dirty, delicate things, drip-dry shirts, each thing needing special care. So difficult without my Countess.
What a relief in the morning to discover my Hotpoint Countess safe and sound.
Companies began to spend huge amounts of advertising to keep the desire for products continuous. The resulting wave of consumer demand enabled goods to be mass manufactured for the first time. As prices came down, so sales boomed further.
It was very much a boom time, and there was choice, there was hire purchase, all sorts of things to encourage people to buy. And as time progressed, it seemed that advertising took over and there was more competition, and gradually the service, if I may call it that we were trained to give, became less so, and things started to become rather more commercial.
This mass consumerism was celebrated in this 1958 film made by the Conservative Party.
The country has never been so prosperous. The standard of living has gone up. We are better fed, better clothed. We're using more electricity. More people have motor cars, bicycles, television, and a host of other things which only a few years ago were the luxuries of the few.